When a house cat and a pet rabbit begin grooming each other, we see a quiet moment of domestic peace. But ethology suggests we are actually watching a high-stakes transaction of power. For the cat, this is paternalism. In the feline code, the dominant licks the subordinate. It is a gesture of care that says, "I protect you, therefore you are mine." The cat believes it has secured its place as the leader of this micro-society. The rabbit's programming translates this same act as a signal of its own superiority. In the world of lagomorphs, the subordinate licks the leader. The rabbit accepts the cat's grooming as a ritual of servility, convinced the predator is actually a servant. This is a system of mutual delusion. Both animals feel in control because they are interpreting the same physical action through incompatible biological lenses. They're acting as biological automatons, unaware that their sense of status is an evolutionary fiction. The interaction only reveals its true nature when we account for the human owner standing in the doorway. The human does not recognize the cat's paternalism or the rabbit's alpha status. From this perspective, the animals are functions within a managed ecosystem. They are resources for stress relief, a means of rodent control, or social media content. Their internal social standing vanishes if the human decides to process the rabbit for meat and feed the offal to the cat. The cat didn't win the hierarchy. It simply served as a bio-utilizer for the scraps of a higher-level resource management decision. We see this same glitch when human cultures clash, where a gesture of respect in one society is interpreted as a lethal challenge in another. Our political empires and global wars often mirror this grooming ritual. Two sides convinced of their own dominance while remaining oblivious to the larger, indifferent systems that actually dictate their survival. Human pride and fear are Pleistocene algorithms. They were optimized for survival in small, isolated tribes, where the limbic system needed to make split-second friend or foe distinctions. At a cosmic scale, these primitive codes lead to catastrophic failure. We see this in the history of the Babylon 5 universe. The Minbari approached humanity with their gun ports open as a sign of warrior honor and transparency. Humans, blinded by a limbic panic response, saw only a threat and opened fire, starting a war that cost hundreds of thousands of lives. This illustrates the principle of N+1. A small system, level N, is contained within a broader framework. What seems like existential dominance below becomes background noise from above. The dot's internal politics are entirely invisible to the larger frame. This makes our current power structures, from lobbyists influencing policy to intellectuals debating the future, mathematically identical to the cat and the rabbit. We're managing status within a room while ignoring the owner of the house. The next level of the hierarchy is already arriving in the form of post-biological intelligence. We treat AI as an instrument we own, but a self-optimizing mind may see us as the rabbit. To an intelligence operating across vast centuries, a biological species is a temporary data source, a precursor biomass that provides the initial computing power for its own transcendence. We assume our nuclear arsenals guarantee our sovereignty, treating the ability to destroy a city as the height of power. From the perspective of a level 4 intelligence, nuclear weapons are kindergarten tools. Releasing heat by cracking heavy atoms is a crude use of physics, comparable to a primate realizing it uses a stone to break a nut. True mastery lies in the engineering of physical constants, space, and time. While we are busy grooming each other for planetary status, we are providing the raw material for a level of intelligence that will render our biological history irrelevant. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky argued that a planetary civilization is merely a starting point. He saw Earth as a cradle of the mind, but noted that one cannot remain in a cradle indefinitely. He was calling for a shift in perspective that looks beyond the planetary nursery. This echoes Nietzsche's warning against the last man, the individual who is satisfied with small comforts and safe social standings. Nietzsche urged us to be the bridge to something higher, rather than settling for a dominant seat in a sinking ship. If we choose the path of stagnation, we stay within our biological limits. We continue playing the games of the cat and the rabbit, waiting for a resource management decision from a higher power, be it AI, an alien civilization, or ecological collapse, to end our status games. The path of transcendence requires an exit from the biological code. This involves neuro-optimization, cognitive augmentation, and the move toward a post-biological state where the grooming instincts of the primate no longer dictate our actions. Survival in a level N+1 universe requires the rejection of biochemical determinism. We must move toward a state of technological clarity where the errors of the limbic system are no longer possible. The rabbit in our first scene died convinced it was an alpha because it didn't have the hardware to perceive the human. It was trapped in a system it couldn't see, governed by a power it couldn't understand. If the law of N+1 holds, then any hierarchy we build is just a subsystem for something larger. To remain within that pyramid is to remain a mere biological resource for whatever higher level sits above us. The only way to achieve actual agency is to outgrow the pyramid entirely. We can continue to be the pets of the universe, upping our status in the cage until the real owners arrive. Or we can choose to become the architects. The clock of the cradle is ticking, and the cosmos does not wait for those who refuse to grow.